And welcome back to the castle, everybody. This is Nightsaber Z42, and don't go expecting this video to have any runs or anything like that. I'm actually going to explain a couple of things about the game that hopefully will help a couple people out. So first off, when you have your castle tree or whatever, the skill tree as they call it, I would definitely go ahead and try to get at least one of everything just to unlock and fully flesh it out. Definitely go for the different classes first, unlock all of those so you can have varied runs and start learning how to play all of those. As you see, I've actually gone ahead and maxed out Vitality as well as, well, I think it was just Vitality at this point. Yep, just Vitality, and I was working on the, the equipment weights. And then I realized that I kind of had a lot of the weights for the base sets for all of the armors, with the exception of the last one, which I think is the downed set. So I started putting points into the etching chamber, which increases the max rune weight. And I would kind of go back and forth between those two because those are fairly important. The runes definitely, I think, help out a little bit more than the actual equipment until you start getting into the higher tier or the higher level equipments. So, and then after that, I would just kind of start fleshing out anything that really gives you a bonus to any of your stats. Intelligence seems to be a well-hidden great stat to upgrade because some of the trinkets actually scale with intelligence, and some of the other effects that you can see in the game also scale with intelligence, and so they don't quite point that out up front. So that's how I would kind of build up your tree. And I bring this up first because it's very important, because as your level goes higher, you can see down at the bottom left, I'm level 101. That is basically how many things I've bought in my castle or my skill tree. So I've bought 101 points. And you'll see that some of the enemies have levels as well, and it's just kind of a rough estimate of like the power of that enemy and where you should be by that point in the game. So as you buy more skills from the skill tree, the global price for all of these skills actually goes up. So for example, this one right here, the fashion chambers, it costs 2,075 gold. But let's say I actually bought this etching chambers. If I would have gone back over here, the price would have increased. I don't know the specific percentage that it increases by, but when you start spamming some skills like my fruit juice bar in the mess hall, which gives me vitality, it kind of becomes a little bit noticeable, and so your runs are going to have to be a little bit longer. And I'll go into my strategy for how I kind of farmed for gold. So the next thing I actually wanted to bring up are the equipments, the equipment sets rather, because I noticed that on Steam there really wasn't a place where anybody had put out what the equipment sets were and what they did. And I have not upgraded any of these to +1. I've been focusing mainly on the skill trees because I think the skills are a little bit more important than the actual upgrades that you can get with your weapons. And that's probably obviously going to change by like New Game Plus and all of that when we actually get there. But for now, for the base game, especially how it is in early access, I don't really see a whole need to upgrade because you're really only getting a couple points in the relevant stats. So let's go through each of these sets. So for the leather set, the unity of 20 is going to be 85 max weight, which I kind of find really curious because I guess, I mean, if you equip more things, your weight goes up. but this is giving you more weight to kind of play around with. But I guess in retrospect, if I remember correctly, having more weight, well, I guess is going to increase your resolve. So you're going to get a 50% resolve if you have, if you are heavy. But if but if you go over that weight limit, I think it brings down your resolve. Something about that you're not as confident in your abilities or something like that is how they had it in the patch notes. The Scholar Unity set gives you +10 bonus focus, and by the way, as you go up in the Unity levels, you get the same effect, but a greater bonus. So I think for Unity level 50, I would get +20 bonus focus, and by level 3 I get +30, but don't quote me on that. I actually haven't gone and experimented on this. For the Warden set, is a bonus to dexterity. The Sanguine weapon, which is my personal favorite, while it does give out lower stats, you do get lifesteal. So the +2 lifesteal for Unity level 20, level 50 I think gives +3 lifesteal, so probably level 100 would give you like +4. The Ammonite weapon, which I have currently equipped, actually gives bonus armor, so +15 armor for the base Unity set right there, which is actually pretty good, although armor is a little bit confusing the way that they have it. So before, armor was this was kind of like your life. It would kind of take away from your armor and your life whenever you got hit, so your armor actually went down. But now your armor is actually static. It works as a defense stat mainly. So let's say, I think the way that they had it is if you had like 10 armor and you take 10 hit, I think it would reduce it by a certain percentage, but you would still take at least like 40% of the damage or something like that. I'd have to reread it because when I read it the first time, I didn't quite read it correctly, and I think I got confused by it. So armor, if you have more of it, it tends to do a lot of good. I would hope, but it also seems like it kind of just flattens out. But then again, I'd have to actually experiment with it. So the Crescent set gives you +15 to bonus magic for that base Unity set. And the Drowned weapon, I actually don't know because I think I only have the sword and the chest. So you can get all of these different equipments in chests as you do your runs. I would say that they're mainly in silver chests, but I think I even had them in random regular chests. But the you'll also get upgrades in those chests as well. So like you'll get the leather weapon +1, which would allow you to upgrade it. So if I actually bought this right now, you can see it turns into leather weapon +1, and I think there's 3 levels, so it goes up to +3. Now in the early access, as far as we know, some of the sets don't have upgrades just quite yet. They haven't put them in, so you're free to kind of experiment with that. Same thing with the runes. So you don't have any Unity with the runes, but you can actually get the same rune in a chest, which will allow you to upgrade it. And so you can see that I have 0 of 2 right here for the capacity rune. That means I have at least up to level 2, and I can go ahead and equip that if I had enough space. And right now I'm at 210 out of 228, so I would have to get rid of something, unfortunately. So there you go. For your run specifically, if you're looking to farm gold, my advice would be to definitely grab Magnesis rune. And there's also a rune which allows you to gain more. Oh, I thought there was one. Yes, the bounty rune. Gain more gold. Now, this is kind of a little bit misleading. So the gold gain bonus is only plus 10%. But if you can actually get more of that rune, then the bonuses will go higher. The only problem is this rune kind of costs a lot. It's 50 right there. But I think it's actually necessary if you're going to be farming gold. And the way that I would do this, do a run, a typical run, at least now in early access, I would actually go ahead and... well, actually, I'll kind of show you. I'm not going to do a full entire run, but I will show you on the map kind of how I proceed to do things. So I will actually start here in the Citadel of Gartha, and I will actually do this entirety side of the map. And this, I mean... At this point, I'm like way overpowered at everything. I can basically one-shot everything, even though I don't have my attack skills all the way up just quite yet. And then I'll actually go ahead and move, I'll actually move into the Kerguelen Plateau. I don't really care for Axis Mundi a whole lot, mainly because there's a whole lot of traps there. But the Kerguelen Plateau is a little bit more manageable. And so after that, I'll actually go back and do Axis Mundi, just to kind of, well, it depends on which class I have. If I have a really good class that I have great mobility with, that I can actually do some range attacking with, then yeah, I'll go ahead and do Axis Mundi. And then last, I'll do the Stygian Study. And that usually, on average, takes me to about 18,000 gold. And this all depends on your actual person. So I don't know if it tells me what my gold percentage is. I don't think this one, yeah, he doesn't have a gold percentage bonus because he has no traits. So if you have a character with a lot of traits, especially some of the ones that have big negatives to it, you're gonna get a big bonus to your gold percentage gain. So I've had upwards of plus 60% on a character, and you can also increase that in the skill tree, and it might actually be beneficial to go ahead and do that. Another skill that I also really find helpful is I can't remember what it's called, but there's a skill where if you get hit, it deals damage to an enemy, and especially for the beginning floors, that actually is gonna be able to one-shot them, while still kind of keeping the your hits quite low, so you're gonna have more HP. I'm saying don't just go up and run into a enemy and just one-shot them. That's probably not what you should be doing. You should be conserving your health. So hopefully these little tips and tricks are enough to kind of help you get started. I would definitely be looking for rooms or secret rooms. Try to do all of the fairy chests if you can. If you make a mistake and you fail at a fairy chest, look for the skeleton key relic. And I wouldn't waste your rerolls on relics quite yet at the beginning. I would kind of save them for anything that you might need. If you get a skeleton, this also means I wouldn't buy a skeleton key right up front, because you might not even get a fairy chest on that run, or a failed fairy chest on that run. So don't waste your skeleton key. Also, by the way, skeleton keys only last once, and then they become a broken key. So if you have more than one if you have more than one broken fairy chest, definitely pick whichever one you think is going to give you the best shot, because you only get one. Although you can get multiple of the same relic in a single run, so there's also that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Go ahead, feel free to leave a comment down below, especially if you have any tips or tricks for new players, or even for myself. I will actually be attempting the boss in the next video and going over how to get to the boss in the Stygian, what is it called? The Stygian Study. So give this video a huge thumbs up to support the series, and subscribe if you want to see more. I will see you guys in the next video.